Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 21 of NascardRadio. I'm your host, Val. Jason has the day off. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk Darlington race winners, the 2 Cup races, and the Xfinity race. And then we have something a little different. I was fortunate enough to be invited to a Q&A with Gray Gaulding put on by Panini America. Panini America is, again, sponsoring Gray Gaulding in the NASCAR series. So we have that. It's a long interview, but it's really good. Gray talks about collecting, and his first Cup race was Jeff Gordon's last Cup race. And if you know about Jeff Gordon, his first Cup race was Richard Petty's last Cup race. So that's really cool. He talks collecting. I didn't realize he was a card collector. So that is pretty awesome. But let's get into Darlington. So NASCAR was back, finally, real racing. No iRacing, real racing, with 3 races in Darlington. The first Cup race, Kevin Harvick was the winner. That was a really good race. Kevin Harvick, he got win number 50 for him and pretty much cements him as a NASCAR Hall of Fame, future NASCAR Hall of Famer. So if you don't collect him, or if you see opportunity to pick up some of his rookies, I would highly recommend it. He is they're very cheap right now, I think under $5 a piece. His first cards were in the 1999 Press Pass and in the 1999 Wheels. In the 1999 Press Pass was card number 76, and he has a parallel skid marks. That's where the writing is done on the card with rubber, actually from tires. And then the Wheels, number 88, and there's a golden version numbered to 50, and then a Solos version, which I'm not familiar with. But so that's Kevin Harvick. Following the Cup race that Kevin Harvick won was supposed to be the Xfinity race. It was actually rained out and finished up on that Thursday, I believe. Chase Briscoe won that race. He had a hard-fought race against Kyle Busch there at the end. Chase Briscoe's rookies are in the 2018 Panini Certified product, the Prime product, and Victory Lane. In Victory Lane, he just has the Signature Series with black, gold, and the base. Prime, he has a bunch of memorabilia and scripted signatures, but really his base card is in the Panini Certified. It's card number 23. It's got multiple parallels: black, blue, gold, green, mirror black, mirror gold, mirror green, mirror purple, orange, purple, and red. Plenty to chase. So that is Chase Briscoe 2018. And then the final Cup race at Darlington last week went to Denny Hamlin. And that was kind of marked with the crash with Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, with Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin vying for on the restart for position 1 before the rain came out. That's Denny Hamlin's second win, I believe, this season. And we've talked about his cars, but his rookies are in the 2005. And he has numerous 2005 issues with base cards like Optima, Trackside, American Thunder. He hasn't won a championship, but I still think that he will get into the NASCAR Hall of Fame if even if he doesn't win a championship. But the way he's going this year and the way Joe Gibbs are running the last couple of years, he has a really good shot. So, and technically, I guess he should have won last year if they didn't have the issue with putting too much tape on the grill that they had to come back in because of the overheating and have to pull that off and lose track position. So, well, I want to transition to the Q&A with Gray Gaulding. Like I said, it's kind of long, but it gives you an insight to the partnership between Panini and Gray Gaulding. And again, thanks to Jason and Tracy and Panini America. I think it's a great partnership with Gray as a card collector, and hear that Gray is a card collector. He's a super great kid. Got a good head on his shoulders, and take it away.
I'll just kick it off. You know, we got a couple of other people that will join. I'll sign them in when they pop up. But you know, this is really an opportunity. We're really excited to get Gray back in a Panini race car starting next Wednesday at Darlington, and then again at the Coca-Cola 600. You know, back to racing, back to sport with all this crazy COVID stuff and no sports going on. It should be really exciting the next couple of races here. So I'm going to hand the ball off, let you guys talk to Gray, ask him questions, be fair, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, now first real quick, Jason, thanks for that intro, but I just want to thank all the viewers and all the fans that were able to join. Obviously, it's a really cool day to kick off, obviously, what we have working with Panini being the primary sponsor, along with being a driver for Premium Motorsports back in the Cup Series. So, you guys asked me anything. I mean, that was the whole point of this deal, just to kind of connect with you guys. I know, unfortunately, the races are going to be raced without any fans, so we figured, no better way than get some fans on here, and we'll just kind of shoot the bull and hang out, and you guys ask me anything you want to ask. So whoever wants to go first. Who we got here?
Can I
Anthony.
Go?
Hey, you guys go ahead. You tell me. Yeah. Shoot.
Okay.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. Just got done with work. I work over at a hospital in Georgia.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, hey, thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank
I know it's a wild time right now. I bet I wouldn't want to trade places with you. I bet, you've been working a lot, so we appreciate the support, definitely in the hospital.
Well, thank you, too. I'm looking forward to races getting back started also. We have Atlanta Motor Speedway down this way. Do they do I haven't been in a while, though. They do a lot of Xfinity over at Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Yeah, we actually race there. We race there once a year. I ran there last year in Xfinity. I think we finished 15th, I believe. And honestly, Atlanta's probably one of my favorite tracks, just because, it's similar to Darlington. Darlington, it's very worn out, and Atlanta's sort of the same way. And, the track it's just got a different, characteristic as far as, how you drive it. So it makes it good for the fans. And, I would advise you. I mean, obviously right now I'm not sure when we'll get back to Atlanta. But if you could this year, it puts on a heck of a show, because it's just such a fun racetrack to drive. So, I would definitely matter of fact, it was my first Cup race in 2017. I ran the Bolts of Honor 500. And talking about a long day, 500 miles at Atlanta is pretty fun. So, I would go check it out.
Is your most memorable the Talladega race?
Yeah, for sure. Last year was just it was a good year as a whole. Being able to take a 25th place car and almost make the playoffs with it, in which I knew we were going to have a good season, because I knew the people I was surrounded around. Bobby Dotter was. He was my team owner last year. I've known him pretty much ever since my NASCAR career started. He's been a big mentor and more like a family friend more than anything. And going into the season last year, I'll just kind of give you a backstory. Is the main thing we wanted to do. I wanted to get my stock value back up, because I had a couple tough years of running for small teams, trying to make a living, grinding it out. But last year I really had an opportunity to show what my true ability was. So I think that was probably the coolest part, is to finish second at Talladega and then back it up a couple weeks later at Bristol and finish sixth. So, we had a heck of a year last year, and Panini once again was the reason why I even had a good enough engine to, almost win the race at Talladega. So I would probably put that number one and put Bristol number two, as far as my top memories from last year.
Yeah, I saw that interview. You were pretty psyched. I would be too after that race.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, not many people get an opportunity to win a race, and you never know when you're gonna have that opportunity. So, thank you. Like I said, thanks for the questions. Thanks for everyone tuning in. And like I said, you guys take turns if you need to, and just shoot away, and we can just like I said, just shoot the bull and hang out.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we could put everyone on mute except for Gray, and then when you guys come off of mute, I'll be able to see who comes off of mute, and they can ask the question. That way, we're not jumping over people. So, I can kind of quarterback that. Shane, why don't we start? Why don't we just go with a question from you, and we'll just go through the list that way.
All right, Gray. I was at Martinsville for your debut in 2016 in the Cup Series. And I was there for qualifying that evening when you made the race, and I was listening to, I guess was MRN interviewing you after that. And the emotion that you showed after making that race, just like, take me through what that whole experience was like as an underfunded guy just trying to make your first Cup Series.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome question. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it was the emotion was definitely high because that was my first Cup race, and going into it there was already a lot of emotion even after or even before, because my idol growing up was Jeff Gordon. So, I never thought I'd ever take the track with Jeff Gordon in the Cup Series. So that year or the year prior, Jeff Gordon had already retired. So I'm like, man, like what, my hero, if I could do anything to race with Jeff and be, door to door with Jeff at some point in my career, that would be so cool. And it's kind of a cool stat, but my first Cup race was Jeff Gordon's last race. Yes. And Jeff Gordon's first race was Richard Petty's last race. So kind of a pretty cool stat for me, with two of the biggest idols in racing, Richard Petty and Jeff Gordon. So, yeah, a lot of emotion. Me being a Virginia kid, coming from Colonial Heights, Virginia, making my debut at Martinsville. And unfortunately, it didn't end the way we wanted. We had a parts failure or something, but I still ran like 350 laps out of the 500. So I learned a lot. With that whole experience, it's just such a different world, because I was racing the Truck Series, I was racing K&N, but when you get to the Cup Series, especially at the time I was with an underfunded team, it's a different ball game. So it really molded me into the driver I am today, to have to really start from the very, very bottom and work my way up. And to now, if you look at my resume, I think I have like 55 starts. I've ran the Coke 600. I've ran the Brickyard 400, the Bristol Night Race. To think that I've come, that feels like yesterday, number one. That's what blows me away, is to think that I've come this far, having that many on my resume is pretty amazing. So, like you said, man, the emotion was high, and once again, it feels like yesterday. So glad to put that in the rearview mirror, because, I was only 18 years old then. I've learned a lot since then.
Nick, do you have a question? Thank you. Oh, sorry. Nick, do you have a question?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, now we can't. You just went on mute. There you go.
Now you hear me? All right, cool. So my question was, last year, yes, probably your most successful season. You were average P16 for the entire year, and then come earlier this year, we're waiting where's Bray? You didn't have a ride until we find out this week. You talk about the process of finding another team and how to come together with there, and how many races are scheduled. Is it all Cup? Is it all Xfinity? I just want to know how many races you're doing this year, or which series.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Once again, thanks for tuning in. But probably the best way to put it is, at the end of last year, the main goal was to get my stock value back up. I wanted to show everybody that I could get the job done. I could go do it. And Bobby Dotter, Panini, all of our partners from last year were able to make that happen for me, because I really gambled on myself. I'm like, I know Bobby Dotter. We have a great relationship. I remember looking at him, and I think it was December of last year. I'm like, please put me in this ride. I ain't going to let you down. I ain't going to tear your equipment up, but I need this. I needed last year for my career going forward. And I feel like I gained a lot of people's respect, because if you look at my career, I've only had maybe a handful of opportunities and stuff that were decent, And when I did have good stuff, I was only 16. I was racing the Truck Series with a decent team at the time, NTS. It was a good team. I had a good time, but you gotta understand, I was only 16. I had no experience. I had no experience with pit stops, had no experience with pit road speeds, things that I've learned, 6 years down the road. I think if I got that opportunity like I did last year, I knew I was ready for it. So, it was tough going in the wintertime, not really knowing, but that's why me and Jason from Panini, we all put our heads together, and we really looked in different situations, like what's going to be the best opportunity for me to not only, show that I can do it, but also we want to race at the highest level. I felt like I paid my dues. and showed that I could get it done last year in Xfinity. And when this opportunity with Jay Robinson and Premium came up, it was kind of a no-brainer for not only myself but Panini. Like, when you're racing on Sundays, it's a different ballgame. You know, it's good for TV, it's good for the sponsors, it's good for, you know, my image. And I think I thought after last year that I'm more ready for this opportunity than I ever have been. So that had a lot to do with the opportunity. And now I'm not saying I'm not open to running more Xfinity, more truck. I think more time on the racetrack is always better. So that's kind of what the goal is to, you know, kick some butt in this car, you know, build on our program here at Premium Motorsports. And then if I you never know, I might get another opportunity with a top team in the future. I know I'll be ready for it. So that's kind of a lot of the reason why it took a little bit longer for me to announce my plans. Obviously, I know it's a very weird time we're going through with the COVID-19 and everything. Everybody's quarantined. So I think it was just the right time today to get it out in the open and know that, I mean, people are sending me tweets like saying that, oh, Gray, did you retire? And it's like, no, guys, I did not retire. Like, I'm still here. And I still, you know, I want this more than anybody, but it's just a matter of putting all the stars in place to make them all align. And luckily now that's happened, and we're just going to see what happens. So I appreciate the question. That's a good question.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, Nick. We were prepared to make this announcement March 17th going into the TMS race. But obviously that race was suspended, and we didn't get that chance for Gray to pull up in the Panini car to our offices in Irving, Texas. So we'll have to do that at another point at some point when it's all safe to do it. But yeah. Next question. Why don't we go with I saw Robert Elliott look like he put his hand up. Robert, why don't we go with you?
Hey, Gray, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Can you talk about, last year I met you at the Xfinity Takeover in Philly. Had you ever been to Philly before? And what was your impression of a non-traditional NASCAR city like Philadelphia? I was there. There's a lot of people there. It was a hot day.
Yeah.
And
yes, it was.
Product placement here. I got my Panini card signed right here.
Nice.
I still got them. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
What about your thoughts on Philly, man? Please?
Yeah, no, I love Philly. I think it's a great city. You know, when we did that takeover with Xfinity, I think it was really good for the sport. And obviously, you know, we were getting, you know, ready. I think it was because of the Dash for Cash, and that was one of my coolest moments in racing of, you know, so far in my career. To say I was, you know, one of 4 drivers to race for $100,000. That's the most money I've ever raced for in my life. Like, to think that I had a 1 in 4 chance to win $100,000, even though we didn't end up pulling it off, but we still had a chance, which was really cool. So, yeah, Xfinity doing that in Philadelphia, getting to meet you fans and everybody. There was, like, so many people there. I got to see a lot of cool stuff. They put us on that bus and gave us a tour of the city, and it's just a lot of history. And one of my favorite movies is Rocky. So to go up on the Rocky steps and run up, and I had the Rocky music playing on my phone in the background, and to think that like Sylvester Stallone did that, like, was so cool. So yeah, we did that, and you know, it's just a good time to be able to interact with you fans, and like you said, it's a little bit untraditional because you don't really see Philly as a racing town. Obviously, you know, you got the Sixers, you got the Eagles, the Phillies, and yes, it's a big sports town, but you don't really see it as a NASCAR town. But I had a whole new aspect for that after that trip. Is like, I mean, we were sitting there signing for like 2.5 hours. Like, I think they had to cut the line off, in which I hate when that happens, because I'm the type of guy, it doesn't matter. I'm normally late to drivers meetings because I hate saying no to anybody. Like, that's just not who I am. I want to sign for every kid, every fan, you know, no matter where I go. But I got a whole new side of Philadelphia when it comes to racing, because number one, y'all are very close to. You got Dover, you got Pocono. I'm not sure. I think, what is it, Watkins Glen? Y'all are sort of close to that. So you guys got a decent amount. Yeah, you guys got a decent amount of racetracks around you. So when NASCAR said they were going to do it in Philadelphia, I'm like, I didn't see it as a racing town, but realistically, the people were great. I look forward to going back to that city in the future. I'd love to go watch a Sixers game. Big NBA fan. I like Ben Simmons, so hopefully one day I can check them out. But also I'm a Cowboys fan, so not a big fan of the Eagles.
Yeah,
but same division. But it's all good though.
Yeah.
LD Tawny.
Hey, Gray.
Lisa, what's up?
Oh, I'm
How's
at
it going?
work. Another hospital employee here at work.
Oh my gosh! Hey, thanks for coming on. I know you're busy. Yeah.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Hey, listen.
What do you got? What do you got for me?
Well, I just want to first. I want to shout out and say, you were talking about Jeff Gordon being your role model, and I just want to say that you by far are my daughter's role model. I mean, she just thinks you're the best. She dressed up like you for Halloween. She had a NASCAR birthday
I love
party,
Soph.
and she informed me that
She's
it wasn't
awesome.
just a NASCAR party; it was a Greg Galding NASCAR party.
Greg
and I just want to, there's a difference. It's not just NASCAR; it's Greg Galding NASCAR.
It's Greg Galding party, yeah.
But I just appreciate how you've come to small towns. I've seen you interact with your fans, and you are the kind of person that a parent would want their child to be a role model of. You're very humble and a decent young man, and the way you treat your fans is astonishing. I mean, you always are there for them, and I'm proud of how I've listened to you over the past few years. I'm proud of how much you've grown and the way you race. You're a good racer, and you're an upstanding citizen of the race community, and we're proud of you here.
Well, no, I appreciate it, Lisa. I'll just give everybody a view and backstory. Well, I've known Lisa for a couple years now, and your daughter, obviously Sophie, she's great, and they've been big supporters of mine for the past couple years. They're actually from the same hometown as my girlfriend is, and it's considered a village in Oak Hill, Ohio is where it's at. So I was happy you came on, Lisa. I know you're a big fan, and I just appreciate everything y'all do. But back to the role model thing is that's always been my thing as far as growing up. Like I said, Jeff Gordon was my role model. Jimmy Johnson's another role model of mine. Growing up, in any kid's eyes or anybody that follows racing or sports, you idolize those people. So when I idolized those guys, I wanted to be just like them. My hair had to be like them. I wanted to wear the same stuff as them. That's just what I did. So you saying that I'm a good role model, that means so much to me, and it really does, because I try every day to set, be that role model for the kids that are coming behind me, because I'm only going to be 22 once, and I'm only going to be in this business for hopefully the next 20, 25 years, however long that is. But I'm just fortunate to have the opportunity to reach out, meet young fans, interact with your daughter, Sophie. I love her to death. She's hilarious. And all the stuff we've been able to do together. But it all boils back to, like you said, I feel like I'm very humble because that's how I grew up. I'm a small town kid, and that's just who I am. So when I'm able to do that and have people like you say that just means the world to me. So thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate it.
And then I want to ask, are you're going to be with Bobby Daughter again this year?
No, unfortunately not. No, me and Bobby, I'll just elaborate on it a little bit. Me and Bobby, he's like an uncle to me. He's an awesome guy. His race team's great. And, sometimes NASCAR's a business. He had to do what was best. And it wasn't for a performance-based deal. It just other things happened. And I had this opportunity to come up with Premium. But I'm not saying it can't ever happen again. So we'll just see. And we'll start here with Premium and kind of see where that goes going forward.
So who will your crew member be that will be listened to on the radio? Who will be your crew chief and your spotter?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, that's a good question. I know my crew chief. I'm still waiting to see who my spotter is going to be, but I know my crew chief. You'll like him. His name's Mike Hillman, Sr. Old man, real old school, super cool guy. Just got that grit to him. He works his tail off, and you'll like his lingo he's got. He's very straightforward, but I love that in a crew chief. I don't like it sugar-coated. If I'm doing something wrong, he'll tell me. If I think he's doing something wrong, I'll tell him. So I think our relationship's gonna be really good. So you'll be definitely hearing his voice a lot this year.
Great. Well, we'll be listening.
All right. Thanks, Lisa, so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, you're
welcome. Why don't we go with Lydia next? That's what it says on the screen. You don't look like a Lydia, but Lydia, and then we'll go to Kyle after that.
It's AJ, just so y'all know.
Oh, AJ, how's it going, man?
It's going good. you mentioned Twitter and the pandemic hitting, and one of the things that became a popular trend on Twitter was the digital autograph. You know, Haley Deegan started the trend, then Corey LaJoie jumped on it, then a couple other drivers jumped on it, and just kind of curious, like, what's your experience been with the digital autographs? Have you been asked to do any? And if so, like, what's the most interesting thing you've signed digitally?
Honestly, I think the only thing I did was I think it was just a picture. Obviously, you know, it's kind of crazy how you can get autographs and different things, you know, dealing with the phones and the social media. So I think it's a really cool thing. I mean, I've seen some people, you know, actually doing like the Panini cards, which is really awesome. So yeah, technology's really taken, you know, it's going, you know, it's taken off, and especially right now since everyone's quarantined and no one can actually, the fans can't go to the track. People can't go to their favorite drivers and get autographs. So I don't think there's any better way to get an actual autograph, because we're technically signing, even though it's not like with a pen or paper, you know, we're actually signing it through the phone. So yeah, I think it's cool, and I think it's another wave of different things that are evolving every day in social media. So I advise all the drivers out there, if they get an opportunity to do it, I think it's cool, because I think at the end of the day, as much as we can, you know, provide for you guys, the race fans, because we know that y'all can't come to the track, you can't be there, you can't watch it live, and obviously you can't get your Panini card signed or get an autograph signed. So the best thing we can do is reach out, you know, via social media, Twitter, Instagram, the best we can to connect with you guys until we get back to normal after the pandemic, where we can have all of you guys back at the racetrack.
For sure. I'm also a fan in the Charlotte area, so I'm just kind of curious, which configuration of Charlotte do you prefer better, the oval or the roval?
Oh, that's a good question. That's an easy question. I prefer the roval. Now, I love the oval, Charlotte. Yeah. But see, I'm a big road racer. I love road racing. I ran, you know, Mid-Ohio last year, Watkins Glen, and the roval last year. Even though, like I said, we were a really small team, but we overachieved a lot of races, and that's probably the number one race I wish I could get back. I was running 6 with 2 laps to go and got wrecked and got spun out, and that ruined our day. After running, I ran in the top 10 the entire second half of the race, and we were limited on tires, and we still were managing to you know, possibly finish in the top 10. So I think that's just a cool racetrack. I applaud Marcus Smith, Bruton Smith, that whole SMI staff for switching it up. They're the best when it comes to switching things up. You know, they I will never forget when they said, hey, I think we're going to make Charlotte into a road course. I didn't even know how they were going to pull it off. But what's crazy is the Roval turned into being my favorite road course out of all road courses, because it takes a lot of finesse. You know, you can really overstep your boundaries if you drive in the corner too hard, especially during the chicane. You can be in the wall in no time. So I like the type of racetracks that you really have to be perfect every lap. You can't make any mistakes. So I elaborate on the Roval, but when it comes to the oval is just as fun. You can move around. You go on the bottom, the middle, the top. You know, so I'm looking forward to the Coke 600, and I'm pretty sure I'll be running the Roval later in the year once we get all the scheduling figured out. But I'm excited to see what I can do in the Cup Series, and if there is other opportunities, any more track time on the Roval I can get, the better, because that track's just a blast. Such a good time to run.
I can proudly say that I was there for both those Roval races, 2018 and 2019, so I got to see you run top 10.
Nice. And you got to saw me get spun out, didn't you?
I mean, I did, but you did say you were running good, so I mean.
No, we still had a good. Yeah, no, we were having a good day. It's always part of racing, but yeah. Well, hey, we hope to see you at the Roval. You know, after all this is over, hopefully, and I think we go back in October or something. So hopefully we'll see you there again.
For sure.
Cool, Kyle.
Yep, thanks, man.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Gray?
Kyle, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Hey, good to see that, man.
Yeah.
How you holding up?
Man, things are good. Like about everybody else on here, just trying to do my part, stay home, go to the grocery store, and not do but so much, you know.
I hear you. Yeah. Man.
Yeah, but life's great, man. I got my health, and it's what I can ask for.
That's all that matters. Yeah, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining on, dude. It's good to hear from you, dude. Hey, everyone on there, this guy, he's from my neck of the woods in Colonial Heights, Virginia. He's a big fan and big race guy. He, what was it, Cole Trickle? He gave me a pretty sweet shirt a couple years ago. Remember that Cole Trickle, the Days Under? I wear it all the time. Love that shirt, dude.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do you still do flight school?
Actually, I kind of put that on hold. A couple years ago, I was really trying to get into it because, everyone knows that, like, my favorite movie's Top Gun. So I'm like, since my favorite movie's Top Gun and I love adrenaline, I love all that stuff, I'm like, I might as well try flight school. So my parents live right next to the airport. So I was like, I might as well try it. So I went up in a Cessna 150. A lot of people don't know this, but I was up in the Cessna 150, and, my instructor at the time, his name's Gene. Well, he's like 86 years old. So, he's got a lot of experience, but, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't want anything to happen because I don't know what I'm doing. So he's letting me fly kind of just free fly up top. And all of a sudden, this joke, it's funny but not funny. I remember I told you this. We were flying. He goes, all right, buddy. He's a super cool dude. He's like, hey, you take it for a spin. So I'm just sitting there flying. Everything's good. I'm like, man, I'm flying a plane all by myself. He took his hands off the wheel. Well, then I look over. He's playing dead. So, and I'm shaking. I'm like, Gene, hey, man, you there? He was like, oh, man, I'm just kidding with you. So I was like, dude, you can't do that ever again.
No,
so,
you go YouTube.
Yeah. So I was getting ready to say, like, I put that on hold after that. But hopefully, eventually, after all this and everything, I might pick it back up. God.
So, along with that, how has your health been since you had that scare and you had to, like, emergency land and everything? Or do you have any reservations with flying anymore?
No, that's a good question, man. I appreciate it. No, it was it was so weird. It was just an allergic reaction to something in the beef jerky. We got a test. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It was something in the beef jerky that I had on the plane, which was homemade, which now, I've been eating Jack Links my whole life and different type of beef jerky, Wild Bill's. I love it. And I guess it was the beef jerky that I had was really good. But then 15 minutes later, I felt my throat swelling up, and I'm not allergic to anything up until that point. So it just got to the point. I look back on it now, like it was like an hour and 45-minute flight. Well, as it was happening, I felt like, I'm like, okay, just work through, get through the flight, and then we'll figure out when I land. But the problem is the panic is what kicked in for me, is why it got to the point. I mean, think about it. If you feel like you can't breathe and you're looking out the window and you're 30,000 feet in the air and something happens, the panic button hit, and that's what caused me to really go from 0 to 100 in a matter of 5 minutes. And luckily, I was on the Stewart-Haas plane, so I had guys from, I think it was Daniel Suarez's team. One of his engineers were just walking me through it, because your body my body kind of went into shock. And I've never had anything like that happen to me ever in my life. And so, yeah, it was a big scare. So I finally got to the point where I just said, I can't, I'm not going to make it another 45 minutes. They're like, hey, we're only 45 minutes away. I'm like, sorry, I can't do it. So we landed in St. Louis. We got a rental car and drove to the track. And my first lap on the racetrack was qualifying. I think we qualified like 16th or something. I just went out there and held it wide open, and kind of, luckily J.J. Yaley practiced my car. But, yeah, it's a good question, man. I'm great now. I just know to stay away from that type of stuff, and I haven't had beef jerky ever since then, so I plan on probably not having it for a while, especially on a plane. So get that out of my system.
Do you have any reservations about going into the Xfinity race coming up? Just with the drivers and no practice, no nothing, just kind of run it. And how the first half of the race is, you got to at least hit the setup somewhat, I think, going into the race, or you're out of luck. And then it's all about drivers' talent.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like it, though. I've had a couple of people ask me, like, if I know a lot of crewmen that I work with, they know I don't really care. I don't really like practice. Like, I go do it. I know it's got to be done, and you got to prepare for the race, obviously. But, like, and Allen Iverson, I mean, we talking about practice. Like, I kind of have that mindset. Like, I'm like, dude, I just want to race. Like, let's start them up and go. Because I was used to that in motorcycle racing. I was used to that in legend car racing. And so I'm kind of happy about it, and I have trust in my team that we'll hit the setup right. I know in the next, probably week or so, we race a week from today. So the next few days we're going to be working a lot trying to get all of our notes together to go to the track. And I know I have a book that I keep. I've had this book for about 5 years. I have every dialogue from every race that I've raced basically for the last 5 years, from what I felt from the car, every practice, every qualifying. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I carry this small notebook everywhere I go when I'm at the track. Like, I have it in my book bag. After practice, I'm dialoguing, putting everything I learned into there. So now that I've done that, now it's going to pay off way more now because we can't practice, we can't qualify. So like you said, if you miss the setup, you're in for a long day. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but Darlington's a really good track if it did happen, because I feel like I can do a lot as a driver to make sure I can actually drive the car off the throttle. So yeah, it's going to be different, but I mean, how entertaining though for you guys. I mean, you guys are going to watch a race and you're not even going to know who's going to win, because normally after practice and qualifying, you kind of know who's going to be in contention. So I'm excited about it. Well, it's going to be entertaining. That's to say the least. So
for sure. Well, I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for taking the questions.
Yeah.
And I'm always proud of you, man. And
thank you.
Kind of going off of what I think it was the lady from Ohio.
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah.
I sentiment what she says, man. You're like, if this went away tomorrow, you would be the same guy, and it speaks volumes how you treat people and the family that you come from. So, I'll thank them, but thank your parents too, man. You learn it from them and the peers around you. So we appreciate
Thanks,
you.
bro. Hey, don't blow his head up anymore than it already is. No, man, I appreciate the kind words. Thanks for, believing in me, especially us being, hometown boys, back in Virginia. So look forward to seeing you at a race soon. You got my number. I'd love to have y'all once everything is over, and we'll connect soon. Thanks again for joining, bro.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks.
Anthony, I'm going to hand the ball off to you. It looks like you've got a question. Anthony?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Hi, Greg. What's up?
What's up, Anthony? How's it going, man? Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. I hope you're doing well with this virus. I know everyone's, like you said, is quarantined. I hope you and your family are doing good. I just had a question. So obviously everybody has those ups and downs throughout their careers. You kind of take the underdog rule, which is a really cool thing when it comes to NASCAR. It's like, so who's been your biggest influencer? Who is stuck with you the most and gave you the most influence to get you to where you are today?
Man, that's a great question. I appreciate you answering that. Yeah, my career, it's been a roller coaster. I mean, to say the least. I feel like one day I can write a book on the things I've been, experienced in my career. I don't just say NASCAR. It's life in general. You're going to go through things in life that, it's gonna build you up, and it's gonna make you a better person, even through the bad times. And I've leaned on so many different people. I have a list that is so long, I can't name every person, but I've had a lot of people believing in me, starting with my family, different partners. Obviously, over the years, I had Krispy Kreme back in the day, and now I turned a new leaf last year with Panini being my main partner that's really stuck by me and been there no matter what, even through a tough time like this. When you look at sponsorship right now, it's so hard to keep. I mean, you see businesses that you never see would shut down. They're shutting down because of the country and what we're going through. So it means a lot to have people like that. But I would say, one of my biggest mentors is a guy I drove for last year. Bobby Dotter's has been someone. He's a family friend, but he's a guy that I leaned on even when I was 8 and 9 years old. When my dad was in the NASCAR business with another driver, he was always a straight shooter. And I'm not saying that, NASCAR, you're going to have snakes and alligators, but he's one of the very few people that I trust along with my team owner now that I just signed with, Jay Robinson. Jay Robinson's been a straight shooter ever since I came into NASCAR. I remember sitting in his office, not having anything. The team I'm driving for right now, I sat in his office 3 years ago, basically crying for an opportunity, because I thought my career was going to be over. I just needed a break. I needed someone to give me a break. And Jay actually paid another driver to sit out just so he can give me an opportunity to drive the car. And he actually paid me so I could pay my bills at home. And it just really showed that, there are people out there that you can trust. And those two guys, I would definitely say, have had a lot of influence on my career. And like I said, there's such a long list, but to elaborate on, my journey, it's been, without those type of people, it's hard to be successful because, this sport, you're going to go through the highs and lows. And I remember, I've been close sometimes, like thinking to myself, I'm like, I was never the type of person where I got bitter or wanted to give up. But, sometimes you think in your head that you're like, man, something's got to give. Something has got to give. In my career, I just feel like last year was my year that something sparked, that I was in the right place at the right time. I've been in opportunities to get big rides, right, at top teams. And I've been knocked out because someone either had more sponsorship, more money, more, you name it. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't take back the experiences I've learned that's got me to this point for nothing, because I've grown so much as a young man, being 22. I started racing Cup at 18. So I've learned so much through the years, even through the bad, that I think is the reason why I'm getting opportunities with premium, opportunities like last year, being able to keep Panini as my primary sponsor. So I'm very fortunate to have great people in my corner, and I look to continue to stay humble, work hard, and my favorite saying of all time is never say never, because people that try to drag you down and tell you that you can't do something, I can promise you that type of stuff is what fuels me. And if you looked at my Twitter, sometimes people still doubt me. Dude, I look at that stuff and I love it. It's like, hey, if you doubt me, I'm going to come back swinging harder. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just the bottom line. That's the type of person I don't quit. So very good question, but trust me, it's been a hell of a journey. So I ain't stopping now. So we're off to a good start for this year.
Well, personally, that you're someone I can look up to. Like, there's obviously others as well, but when it comes down to it, like you said, you never give up, you never say never. It's like you have that attitude to where you'll sit there and like maybe you don't get the top opportunity, but you're not going to quit. You're always just going to keep going.
No, definitely.
You're never going to stop. So that's something I could definitely personally look up to. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. No, you hit the nail on the head. Even just be part of NASCAR. If you think about it, there's 40 drivers in the world. This is what I tell people all the time. I'm one of 40 in the world getting raced on Sunday. And when I was 8 years old, that was my dream, to race the Daytona 500. I accomplished that. I'm racing my heroes. Even if I'm in the worst car in the field, I'm going to go out and give my sponsors, my team, and the people around me, I'm going to give them everything I have. I'm very competitive. So, like if me and you were just talking right now and you're like, hey, you want to run a foot race? I'll race you to that flag across the street. I'm going to try to beat you. Like, I want to excel in everything I do. And even racing for smaller teams, I always want to outperform my equipment, take that team and those cars to another level. So I appreciate you giving me the kind words and the questions. And just thanks for tuning in. And thanks for telling me that I could, I'm sort of a role model to you. That really means a lot to me, dude.
Anytime. And I'm also supposed to go to the Pocono doubleheader, but whether or not there's fans there, I can't really control that. But if I do go, I hope you're racing.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thanks again, man. Well, hopefully we'll see you at a race soon.
No problem.
Hey, Terrell, you're up.
First off, thank you both to Gray and Panini for doing this, and thanks to Panini for giving Gray this opportunity, because as fans, we see how hard it is for these talented guys sometimes to break in without that support of sponsorship. So a huge shout out to Panini. It's bringing my two of my favorite worlds of sport car collecting and sports cars together. So I was kind of introduced to you in a K&N race up here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Gray, and the one that I saw you in was not your best day, but it wasn't too bad. I think you were in the back half of the top 10. But I'm wondering.
Yeah, well, hey, New Hampshire. Hey, sometimes it goes like that, especially at New Hampshire. I'm not very good at keeping the brakes on it.
I keep waiting. I'm fortunate to talk to some drivers up here. I keep waiting for someone to say something good about the track.
It's a pretty good track. I don't mind it. It's tricky, but it's still a good track, though.
Nice. I'm wondering, some of the bigger races up here for us are Oxford Plains, the Oxford 250, of course, And for me, I grew up in Vermont at Thunder Road watching the Milk Bowl. And I'm curious if you had the opportunity to compete in either of those races, if it fit in the schedule and everything. I know there's a lot that goes into it. But would you?
That's another good question. I mean, I grew up racing. I know of the Oxford 250. That's I know that's a huge race for you guys up there. I've never ran that race. I know I haven't seen a whole lot of video of it, but in the track, like a complete circle, and there's no wall, you can actually go over the edge, if I'm correct.
Yeah, there's a front stretch wall, yeah, and you can do some serious agricultural racing around the edges for sure.
Yes. So, no, the track and everything looks really cool. But, I don't know if you know this, but that was my background. I know super late model racing, especially in the Northeast. Yeah. There's some of the best and most talented short track drivers that run the super late models at New Hampshire, the modifieds, Oxford. Those are my roots. When I signed with Kevin Harvick when I was 12, he threw me in a super late model, and the average path for a kid that's 12 years old, they're racing a legend car or maybe a go-kart or a Bandolero. I was in a super late model that had 700 horsepower by the time I was 12. So I can relate. Like I honestly, sometimes if I could go back to any of my racing memories, like in the past, I would definitely go back to the old super late model days. I mean, the Saturday night show, seeing the local fans, racing against, I'm sure you've heard of the name Ben Rowe. Ben Rowe is, I think he's won the Oxford 250 a few times. He was a guy that I remember racing hard with in the past series. He's an older guy, but super talented. Just those type of guys is what makes us drivers that are racing at the highest stage get ready to race the best guys. When you're racing those type of Saturday night shows whether it's Hickory, Oxford, South Boston, Orange County, places around here and places up north, like that molds you to get ready for the next level. And the next level is racing NASCAR, the trucks, the Xfinity, and then if you get to Cup, then you're at a whole nother level. So, I was 12 years old racing against those guys. So I think eventually, once I kind of figure out my schedule and I get my, everything in line here in the next couple of years, I would be more than happy to race the Oxford 250 and get to, see you fans. And because I know how big short track racing is up there. So hopefully that's something I can, check off the bucket list.
That'd be awesome. And Ben Rowe will make you use all four corners of your race car. That's for sure.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. I ran side by side with Ben Rowe at I think it was Hickory in 2000. I think it was 2012. I think he door slammed me every single corner. At the end of the day, that's short track racing, and that's what makes it fun. So yeah, I look forward to it again.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for the question, man.
Val, I see your mic is on, not muted. Do you have a question?
I do. Great.
First, thanks, Gray and Panini, for putting this on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being on, man. We appreciate it.
And my question is, it's to have a sponsor like Panini America, and having your own, I don't know if you can see your own, trading cards. What's it like for not only having them as a sponsor, but then also being immortalized on the trading cards? And do you collect cards at all?
Oh, that's another good question, because trust me, I wish I had them with me, but I have binders growing up since the time I was 8 years old, and I still collect cards really. Obviously Panini being my sponsor, but I have a passion for it. I think that's what makes our partnership so great is, I'm a big athlete. I love sports, and Panini they have all the cards for the NBA, the NFL. Some of the biggest athletes in the world, they're getting to make trading cards for, and obviously the biggest NASCAR drivers in the world and biggest drivers. So that's what makes our partnership so cool, because I can relate. I love talking to card collectors. I love talking to the people that are just as passionate about something as I am. And I think that's why, like I said, our partnership is taken to another level, is because I get it. You know what I mean? I was a kid, and I still collect to this day. I have binders full of NFL cards, Dan Marino, Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, Ernie Irvan. I can name all the names that I would literally just sit there as a kid and just go back and forth. And that's how I gained a lot of my knowledge about racing, is turning the card around and looking at little fun facts. Where are the drivers from? Where they came from? What they, what series did they run before the Cup Series, just things like that. So, it's cool to be a card collector and actually have it as my sponsor. And I think that's why, ever since we started our relationship last year, which was really funny, is it was only supposed to be a one race deal, and it turned into being, now we're going to be, we're family now. So it's just very fortunate. And I'm sure you're a card collector, you asking that question, but we did an awesome event in Las Vegas. I went out to Vegas. We finished 7th in the Xfinity race. Well, 2 days later, I got all the Panini employees, and I took them basically for a hell ride around Las Vegas. I was running about 3 inches from the wall. So I got to, ride around these card collectors and the people that actually work for Panini, and it kind of gave them a different perspective. But also, it was cool for me to get to meet card collectors from really all around the world. They all came to Las Vegas for that event to meet me and Joey Logano and to hear their stories. I mean, I can't remember the guy's name, but he said he's been collecting cards for like 50-something years and was showing me pictures of his, most valuable cards and stuff. And it's like, it's a very interesting, type of thing for me. And I'm just really happy that I can share that same passion with guys like yourself and a lot of people, around the country.
Brad, it looks like you had a question.
Yeah. Hi, Gray.
Hey, man, what's up? Hey, I love that T-shirt
question.
you got on.
Thanks. So I got
there you go.
got your card right here.
Oh, hey, yeah, I got a couple right here too, man. There you go. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Hopefully they make another one like the one that's behind you, the new number.
Yeah, that's possibly in the works. Yes, sir.
Growing up, what was one of your sport cards that you were trying to chase as a kid?
I think the biggest one that I got, I was, like I said, I was a big Cowboys fan, so I have a Troy Aikman card, and as a kid, I loved Troy and Dan Marino. Even though that was way before my time, I feel like as a kid, I loved reading about history of racing, football, basketball. History in sports has always been super intriguing to me. So as a kid, for football, those guys having their car was the coolest thing ever. Well, then for NASCAR, I would probably say the card I chased the most that I still don't have is a Tim Richmond card when he drove the Folgers 25, or no, the J.D. Stacy car when he first came in. I think he was driving the 15 car. That card I still don't. I pretty much have all the drivers covered. I think even current drivers that I have in my collection. And obviously, Panini sends me all the, newest, latest, and greatest. The Don Rust, I got a super big collection at my house right now. But from the back in the day cards, I did a lot of collecting. But no, that's what makes it fun, though. I mean, I'm obviously you wearing the Panini shirt. I know you're probably a card collector. That's the coolest part, is being able to if you have something that you don't have but you're trying to chase. That was the funnest part for me as a kid, is trying to being at school, trading your buddies for different cards and stuff like that. So if I had to pick one, I would probably say, I see it right there. Yeah. So I would probably say the Dan Marino and the Troy Aikman was probably my favorite, especially for the NFL.
We've got time for a couple more questions. I want to just make sure that we get some other people in here. There's two that haven't had a question yet. Ginger, if you can unmute, you can ask a question. Doesn't seem like we can hear her. She's got her mic on. So
who are we trying to connect here?
Ginger, here in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Austin.
Not sure what's going on with your phone, Ginger. We can't hear you, even though your mic is on. So I'm gonna hand the ball off to Tracy Hackler because he always has a good question. So T, you're on the spot.
All right. Thank you, Jason, for that. And Gray, thank you. I'm just now recovering from the lapse in Vegas with you from last week.
Yeah. I remember seeing you. Yeah, we had a good time, man. That was awesome.
I had to change my underwear a few times during that day. And also, thanks to everyone for joining. This has been awesome.
Yes,
but
sir.
the one question I have is, what role did you play in Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP honors?
Man, I tell you, I guess we were a good luck charm. But I mean, honestly, the fact that how that I think it's just such a cool story. Like, Bristol's one of my favorite tracks, and Bristol's a very hard place to, number one, not wreck the car, but also get a really good finish. And we were in contention to win. And I think the biggest part about that was we had so much attention going into that race. So the energy and the anticipation of, like, man, I need to have a good showing. Like the pressure was on. I mean, I got the MVP from last year on my hood. This is before he won the Super Bowl, obviously, but probably at the time they were the Super Bowl favorites. And then I got you guys, like, hey, we're gonna, Panini's like, hey, we're gonna put Patrick Mahomes on the car at Bristol. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it was awesome, but I'm like, man, the pressure's on. So the fact that we backed it up, finished sixth, was in contention to win the race, and then Patrick Mahomes goes off in the Super Bowl. Goes on that playoff run, wins the Super Bowl MVP. I mean, honestly, though, straight up for myself and Panini as a combination, all of us together, what an awesome 2019 season ending. He was only on the car for one race, and the race he was on, we almost won Bristol, was in contention. He goes off and wins Super Bowl. I mean, you can't make that up, dude. I think that's awesome.
That's awesome, man. Looking forward to another year with you.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks for everything you do for Panini, man. And, I would look forward to seeing you soon, and we'll have you at a race once all this stuff's over with, brother.
That sounds great, brother.
All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Ginger asked a question via the chat, and the chat was, did you ever run the Motor Mile Speedway at Pulaski County in Virginia?
Oh, good question. Yes, Ginger. Sorry we can't see you, but thanks anyway for tuning in. And actually, yes, Motor Mile is one of my favorite tracks. I grew up racing there in the past series. The first time I went there, I think I finished fifth in the past series. There's like 35 cars that showed up, a lot of competition. And Virginia, obviously, me being a Virginia boy, to have a good run, and I was only 12 years old, racing against guys that were double my age. 3 times my age, some of the best drivers in the world or in the country as far as short track racing goes. But that track it's got a lot of different characteristics to it as far as it's got long straightaways, really tight corners, but it's got a nice smooth surface, and it's pretty fast for the size track it is. And another fun fact, my team owner from last year, Bobby Dotter, that's where he won his Busch race. So I know that because I have one of his, obviously his trading cards. I have his, and it says Motor Mile on the back, and just a cool racetrack to go to and watch some good old short track racing, and hopefully eventually later in my career I could do it again.
Awesome, cool. So before we go to Vicky, actually just jumped on, and Vicky, you missed us on talking about Las Vegas, but I know that for a spin around the track in Vegas too. So Vicky, if you've got a question for Gray, he's here.
When are you coming back?
Vicky, what's up? Oh, man. Yeah, Vicky, I'll give you a little backstory. Vicky, we always stay at the Planet Hollywood. She's a big fan of mine, and we love her to death. She always makes my family little bracelets. So she's a big fan, and we always stay at the Planet Hollywood. She takes care of her. She's been to a couple races in Vegas. So Vicky, trust me, Vegas is one of my favorite cities. So whenever it opens back up, I'll be ready to come back for racing and possibly a little bit of gambling. You gave her a ride.
As soon as I get
yeah, that's true.
As soon as I get the phone call to go back to work, you're my first call.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, hey Vicky, if you got any questions regarding the racing or anything, you just shoot away.
When's your first one? I'm sorry, I just joined in. Sorry.
No, you're fine. My first race with Panini in the 27 car for premium is going to be at Darlington, the second Darlington. It's a week from today, and then not this Sunday, but next Sunday we'll be racing the Coca-Cola 600. So we'll start off at Darlington, and that week we'll finish off the Coke 600, and we'll have a couple more races scheduled, but we're not allowed to announce anything because NASCAR hasn't made the further schedule after the Charlotte, so we'll definitely be able to update all of you guys here in the next few weeks.
Well, luckily, I don't have anywhere to go, so I'll be able to sit in front of my TV and watch it.
Absolutely, yeah. Make sure not only you, Vicky, but everybody. Yeah, next Wednesday, It's going to be a night race, which is cool. So, yeah, y'all tune in, and especially this Sunday. Even though I won't be in this Sunday's race, it's just good to have racing back going, and just really excited to get back racing.
And then we're gonna finish it up with Kyle. So Kyle, go ahead, you fire away, and then we'll wrap up here.
Yeah, sure. Also, Jason, I wanted to thank you and Panini for putting this on. This is awesome and really cool way to connect with Gray's fans and just people wanted to connect with them. So can't thank Panini enough for that. Just wanted to give you all a shout out. But also my buddy Wes, he's a part of Goat Sports Cards, and they came out to the Vegas trip when y'all were with Panini and Joey, and he said that my buddy Wes said that you can't hang Gray. He wants you in Pong though, because he played with Joey.
Oh, yeah, that's right, man. Well, hey, we're going to have to make that happen, dude. Yeah, no, we had a...
Me and Joey beat you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we had a good time. My dad, he was, him and Joey were on the team. I had someone else on my...
How you get Alex?
Yeah, I had Alex on my... Honestly, I think I let Alex down a little bit, but Joey Logano definitely pulled my dad's weight.
What?
Yes,
No.
he did. Yeah, he did. Honestly, I wish Joey was here right now, but... I'm telling you right now, that guy, he's like Forrest Gump when it comes to ping pong. I mean, he is no joke. So, yeah, I need a rematch later this year or sometime eventually, because I didn't show my best talent. So hopefully we'll do that sometime soon.
And what have you been doing to prepare for this next race and then majorly with the 600? Because I know that's like a marathon. So with this whole COVID thing and just preparing, because you haven't been in the race car in the routine and everything and going forward.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, dude. I mean, to be quite honest, like the last 2 months I've been really training hard. I've been doing a lot of running, a lot of strength training, and obviously watching a lot of film. I mean, film is, I don't know, when it comes to film, like I can't get away from it. Like every night, I was on another radio call earlier this morning. In the last 3 days, I've watched the Southern 500 from last year 7 times, from start to finish. So, that's just me laying in bed with I lay in bed with a notepad and I write little small things. Even though I've watched it 7 times, it might be something that I missed on the 6th time or the 5th time that I can write down, when I'm watching the 7th time. So, I do a lot of that, but also I've just been trying to stay busy. I've just been really working out a lot outside. All the gyms are closed where I live, and I've been playing a lot of basketball and a lot of running. And the funny thing is I like to bulk up right before the season. I do a lot of eating now, healthy wise obviously, but weight gainers, the protein, try to beef up. But during these summer months, I run so much. Like in the last week and a half, I've lost 7 pounds. So because I'm running my goal every day, which I've done it for the last week and a half, is the reason why I've lost the weight. I'm running 3.5 miles a day, no matter rain, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I get out, I put a sweatshirt on, sweats, I'm sweating my tail off, but it's all about the endurance. And y'all might think I'm crazy, but I saw a thing it was at the last part of last year. I haven't even told my dad this. I don't really tell a lot of people because they might think I'm weird, but I'll tell you guys. But I sit in the car an hour a day in my Range Rover, and I cut the heat wide open. I just sit there. I might just be playing on my phone, but I sit there and crank the heat wide open for an hour a day, sometimes 45 minutes to an hour a day in my parking lot, and I just sit there and take the heat in. Just sit there and sit in the heat. I'm trying to get my body immune to that type of heat, even though it's not even going to be close to the type of heat in the race car, but at least it's a start. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been out of the car for 6 months. So that's just the main thing, man.
Focused.
Yeah, just to stay focused and, just to, like I said, I might just be sitting there playing on my phone, goofing off, playing a game, but I'm getting my body and my head immune to those temperatures and what I'm going to be feeling, because I'm going to be racing in less than a week. 900 miles. So that's a lot. So, hey, real quick, here, I got this too. Since everyone's on right now.
We'll show them the car too.
Yeah, I'll show, what I have in my hand, everyone on the card, we're going to send all you guys. So Kyle, we'll make sure you and everybody on get the Panini Hero card. It got Patrick Mahomes, the small little car, and obviously Checkers and Rallies. We just signed them on this year to be another sponsor of ours. Not to the Panini level, but we're excited to have them on board, and we'll be giving everyone a free coupon. So
let's show them the car real quick.
Yeah, we'll show you the car while we got it.
Yeah, I have all your emails on here. So what I'll do is I'll send you all an email, and if we can get your mailing address, we can get that hero card out to you in the die-cast card. Really appreciate you guys being a part of this great way to kick off the return of NASCAR and the return of sport. And looking having you guys rooting for us over the next couple of weeks.
Jason, how's Texas? How's things in Texas?
Everything's great here. I mean, we're just plugging away, doing what we need to do. So.
Y'all have like shutdown maintenance, or like y'all everything shut down, or?
So we finally got our print facility back up and running. They're operating at 70%. So, but they're running 24 hours a day right now. So they're playing catch up for us. Everyone else at Panini is working remotely from home, and we're just absolutely crushing it. I mean, the power of technology. We've been on these meetings before, but never thought about like, hey, why don't we do this with an athlete and get a bunch of fans on? So right. Of different ways of doing things differently, which is great.
Jason, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, with NASCAR being the only sport, is there any pressure to grab some new fans and show them the exciting sport of NASCAR?
Man, I think that...
Yeah. Go ahead, Jason. Yeah, I can follow up after you, man.
Yeah, no, I was saying I don't know that there's pressure, but I mean, I mean, look, everyone's been watching documentaries for the last couple of weekends here, so
yes.
A live sport on TV sounds like a win to me. So
yeah, I definitely second that, Jason. I mean, to answer the question, I think the best way is like, we've been so deprived for the last 2 months without sports, and like I said, I'm a big sports guy. Like, I just want to watch a basketball game, a race. I mean, anything at this point. So I think it's a really big move for NASCAR to be able to put this on in a very safe way, a very cautious way. I don't know if people have read about it, but every time I get out of the car, all the crew members, we're all going to be wearing masks. We're not allowed to be around any other team but our own team. So at least we're able to put the event on at a high level. I think it's going to be an amazing race because there's no practice, no qualifying. I think NASCAR's done a great job of putting this on, and it's going to be on prime time, and we're one of the first sports back along with the UFC that is going to be live in its actual race. It's not a virtual race. It's a real race at Darlington Motor Speedway. So I think it's going to be a knockout of the park. I think we're going to see more fans that maybe have never given NASCAR a try say, you know what, hey, it's live. Why not watch? Let's watch a race. Let's watch guys run 200 miles per hour running 2 inches from the wall. I mean, if you love sports, how do you not love that? You know what I mean? So I think we're going to get a lot of new eyeballs, and I think that's going to be huge for not only myself, but our sponsors along with Panini, Checkers, all our people that we're kicking off our first race at Darlington. Even though it's the second one, it's still another live event on primetime television. So I think it's going to be a knockout of the park.
Hey, Gray, just before we wrap up, I wanted to show you this. I actually pulled an autograph of yours from a Panini product not too long ago from a blaster box.
Oh, dude, that's tight. Where did you get the box at? Did you get it at
I got it at my local Target, and the shot appears to be you at Bristol from when you were in the Patrick Mahomes car.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. So it was already signed and everything?
Yeah.
Nice.
Looks like a gem in my collection.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, hey, once again, we appreciate you collecting Panini cards, and if I can ever sign any more Panini stuff for you in the future at a race, I'd be more than happy to, man. So thanks again for tuning in, and really enjoyed connecting with all you guys.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, sir. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for doing it.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys. Hey, real quick before we go, thank you all very much for taking the time out of your day to join myself and Jason at Panini. Like he said, it's pretty cool to reach out to everybody, even though we can't actually talk in person because of the whole quarantine and all that stuff, trying to stay safe. But we hope to see all you fans at a race soon. But thanks for supporting me along with Panini. And we look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday at Darlington on TV. So
thank you, Gary, so much, man. You too, buddy.
Good luck. See you, man.
Love talking with you.
All right, everybody, take care on here. All right.
Yep.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
So that was the Q&A with Greg Galding. Again, thanks to Jason, Panini America, and Tracy Hackler. It was great to be invited to that. I hope all the listeners enjoyed that. Again, it was a super great privilege. Thank you so much for that I was invited and that I could share that with all of my listeners. So hopefully you got an insight to that. Don't forget to catch me May 30th on the Hobby Hotline, the trading cards only live call-in show. Me and a couple other hosts, other podcasters will be on answering questions Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. You can find us on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. That's all for now. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy the Coke 600, and we'll be back next week with the winners and their cards. Thanks for listening, everybody.